eye is the most natural and beautiful camera that we possess. It is a powerful image gathering device. The external part of the eye consists of the eyebrows that protect the eyes from perspiration and the direct rays of sunlight, the eyelids that protect the eyes from excessive light and foreign particles from entering into the eye, and finally the eyelashes, which have sebaceous glands at its base of the hair follicles, and these sebaceous glands, they pour a lubricating fluid into the hair follicles, keeping it moist. Now externally, our eyes look like this. When we rotate the eyes, you will understand that it has a ball-like structure. This is an entire human eye. It has a ball-like structure, and so it is known as the eyeball. Now, the front white part of the eye is known as the sclera. This circular opening in the center of the eye is known as the pupil. And this colored portion of the eye is known as the iris. Now, you do have to close your eyes when you try to directly look at the sun. Well, there are muscles present in the iris which can contract and relax. And this regulates the constriction and dilation of the pupil. That regulates the amount of light entering into the eye. Now let us see what is happening here. There is darkness in the beginning. Now suddenly when the light is turned on, these muscles contract, constricting the pupil. See it again. See the muscles of the iris, they contract, constricting the pupil. Now, the colored portion of the eye is known as the iris. Now, iris can be of different colors. It can be gray or brown, blue, green, anything. Now, just like a camera has a lens which focuses the image on a photographic film, similarly, our eyes also have a lens which forms an inverted image on the photographic film known as retina. So, this is the lens which focuses the image on the photographic film of the eye, which is known as the retina. Now, continuation of the sclera in the front of the eyes is known as cornea. So, this is the cornea of the eye. And it is the extension of sclera. Now, there is another protective layer in front of the cornea. This one. And this protective layer is known as the conjunctiva. Now, cornea is transparent so that light can enter into the eye. If due to some reason the cornea turns opaque, then we have problems in vision, and the cornea needs to be surgically operated and replaced. Now see, the lens divides the eye into two chambers. This chamber in front of the lens is known as the aqueous chamber. And this chamber behind the lens is known as the vitreous chamber. Now the aqueous chamber is filled with a watery liquid known as the aqueous humor. And the vitreous chamber is full of a glassy, jelly-like liquid known as the vitreous humor. I told you that there is a sclera and a retina. So this is the sclera and this is the retina. Now between these two layers is another layer which is highly vascular or has a lot of blood vessels and is known as the choroid. Choroid gives nourishment to the eye because it contains the blood vessels. This is the choroid. Now let us try and identify the different parts of the eye. The outermost layer of the eye is known as the sclera. So this is the sclera. The middle highly vascular layer is known as the choroid. And the inner photographic layer, where the image is formed, is known as the retina. Now, sclera in front of the eye forms the cornea. Cornea is protected by an outer covering known as the conjunctiva. So this is the conjunctiva. The colored part of the eye is known as the iris. So this is the iris. The circular opening in the middle is known as the pupil. So this is the pupil. This is the lens which focuses the image just like the lens of a camera. So this is the lens of the eye. Now the lens divides the eye into two chambers, the aqueous chamber and the vitreous chamber. The aqueous chamber is full of a liquid known as the aqueous humor. This is the short form for aqueous humor. And this chamber, the vitreous chamber, contains a liquid known as the vitreous humor. So these are the various parts of an human eye. Now, why does our eyes become dilated in dim light? See, under normal conditions, when there is light in the room, the pupil remains undilated. Now, when there is dim light, the pupil becomes dilated. See? Well, this is because it needs maximum light to enter into the eye. So that is why the pupil dilates in dim light so that light can enter into the eye.